Black people are not a monolith. This is a phrase that you've undoubtedly heard if you are black yourself, or even just if you've been online at any time during the past few years. You have heard people make this statement. I used to be one of them. And sometimes I still do make this statement. I think it's pretty stupid to associate an entire race of people with one specific line of thought or action or taste or anything like that. We are as diverse as anyone else. Now, why am I saying this extremely duh statement? It turns out that in the year of our Lord 2020, black people are not a monolith until it's time for them to be a monolith. We have seen SJWs and far leftists pitch a fucking fit every single time a black person dares to think for themselves or say anything that's even slightly controversial to quote unquote everyday black folks. We saw this happen to Terry Crews, the likes of Candace Owens. Hell, Chrisette Michele just sung for Trump, and you still have people acting like she's just the biggest bitch on the planet. It's really fucking annoying as a black person to watch people do this type of thing. And contrary to popular belief, black people are actually the people who do this shit the most. It's not racist white people. Now, why am I even talking about this? What does this have to do with Black Panther star Letitia Wright? Well, for those of you who are oh so privileged to not be in the know, Letitia Wright committed an unpardonable sin on Twitter a few days ago when she made it publicly known that she's skeptical about the vaccine of the virus that we've been plagued by for the past year. On Thursday, she tweeted out this video that was made by these two brothers, Tomi and Toby Arayomi. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. But apparently they're these like conspiracy nut jobs who admittedly don't even have any idea how vaccines work. But then they went ahead and talk about how they're bad. It's definitely one of those things where I saw it and I was like, probably not the most scientifically minded thing you've done in your time on social media, Letitia. But honestly, you live and you learn. I'm totally not criticizing her for being skeptical of the vaccine. It is brand new. This isn't like folks who say that the flu vaccine is going to give you the flu, even though we know that that's not the case. And we have decades upon decades of research and examples of that not happening. But that's completely a different story. And since we're talking about black people, Letitia Wright is black. Let's just say that scientific officials from the U.S. government and black people don't exactly have the best relationship, historically speaking. So it's not completely unfounded for someone to be a little skeptical when talking about this type of stuff. Yes, while the source itself was smooth-brained as hell from everything that I saw, her being skeptical is fine. Skepticism is actually a good trait to have. If that's where this story ended, I wouldn't be making this video. They, in classic SJW fashion, decided that it's time to cancel her. Shuri, the next in line to be Black Panther, the woman who was previously championed by these people, talking about how they couldn't wait for Black Panther 2 so they can see a black woman be Black Panther. You know, almost like they can't go read the comic where Shuri was Black Panther and it was good. And y'all have no idea. Getting back on topic, all of those people who have been singing her praises for the past few months since Chadwick Boseman's unfortunate passing, now they can't stand her. She is, according to them, and I quote, a stupid bitch, deserving of the backlash. She needs to be fired. She is a transphobic anti-vaxxer. Someone just straight up quoted Nino Brown from New Jack City. Cancel this bitch. Gotta love it. She is all these terrible things and more because she dared to tweet out her opinion regarding the vaccine. Just like how these folks can't stand Gina Carano, who plays Cara Dune in The Mandalorian, because she is not on the pandemic bandwagon like the rest of these guys. and she dares to make it be known that she thinks that things need to start opening back up, then they, no, you need to cancel her. She's anti-vax. She's anti-vaxxer. She's a science denier. Okay, well, I thought the force was female, but apparently the force is only female as long as that female is a far leftist. And the same is true for Letitia Wright, because these people have not stopped. I am recording this on Saturday afternoon. These people are still coming for Letitia Wright, even though she's deleted her Twitter. So the crowd that cries day in and day out about harassment of women online, you incels bullied Kelly Marie Tran off Twitter, you bullied Daisy Ridley off Twitter, now they have legitimately harassed and bullied Letitia Wright off Twitter because she dared to think differently. This is exactly what I was getting to in the beginning of the video. People love saying black people are not a monolith until it's time for black people to not be a monolith. You can accept that black folks can like anime, hard rock, country music, fruit other than watermelon, soda other than grape, Kool-Aid other than motherfucking red. But if a black person is not a raging far leftist, if they're not a card-carrying socialist who believes everything that the good old fucking government has to say, as long as that government ain't Trump, then it's time to cancel them. It's time to cancel them. They're not black and right. People like this are exactly why Joe Biden and his ilk were comfortable saying shit like, if you don't know you ain't voting against Donald Trump, then you ain't black. People like this are exactly why everything is so terrible now. Please understand that when the next phase of the MCU comes out and it's absolute trash, it's their fault because they're the people who Marvel are going to be trying to appeal to now. Look at this shit. Letitia Wright was a darling of these people, and now she's persona non grata, all because she dared not to think right. Do not listen to them when they lie to you. They will lie and say that, oh, it's because she tweeted out misinformation about the vaccine, which she did not. She shared a video that was critical of the vaccine. You can criticize the video all day long, but calling her a bitch and a cunt and saying she needs to be fired and tagging Marvel Studios to try and get her fired does nothing to prove your point. All it does is prove that you are a fucking loser. It proves that you are a piece of shit. 2020 has been an absolute train wreck. I'm glad the year's almost over. But one thing I am grateful for this year is how much the mask has slipped from these SJW's fucking faces. Because for the better part of a decade, they've been acting like they're the champions of rights and equality. Oh no, excuse me, equity. We off that equality shit now. It's equity. But they're all for equity and they want fair treatment and representation and diversity and blah, 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 blah. Even though they know good and hell well that that's not what they want. But now we are seeing SJWs more and more for what they actually are. They are a school of ravenous piranha, consuming everything, including each other. They are vicious, they are vile. They take the people who should be on their side and who usually are, and they destroy their lives. For all my gamers out there, you ever be on a team with someone and then they're always talking shit? They're saying that you're bad, the whole team is bad, the whole team sucks. And then you look over at their KDA ratio and it's like 0-10-3 for all my non-gamers out there. That means they have 0 kills, but they've died 10 times. And then the match will only have gone on for like 10 minutes. So for every minute they've been in the match, they've died at least once and haven't gotten a single kill themselves. Meanwhile, they have everything in the world to say about, well, you're wrong and how you're bad and how this person missed that ability and this person was late to the team fight and blah, blah, blah. Once again, referencing one of my favorite passages from the Bible. You need to stop focusing on the splinter in your neighbor's eye and take a look at that fucking plank in yours, big boy. Because, oh my God, that shit is about to grow into a fucking forest. And do you know why they do that? Because they're terrible. But they're not going to put forth the work to be better. They're just going to keep doing what they want to do and fuck y'all for not doing what I want y'all to do. Even though they're objectively often the worst person on the team. These people are usually not only bad at the game, they're usually bad in life. They probably work some shitty job. They have very few, if any, meaningful personal relationships. They have no goals, no dreams, no real aspirations in life, and they're most likely going to die alone, surrounded by feral cats and rat turds. Now, to mitigate the fact that their lives are absolute fucking voids, they talk shit to people online. They get in these games and they troll their teammates, they throw matches, and they play like absolute dog shit, blaming everybody else for why their match is failing, even though they are objectively the worst people on the team. And that is exactly the spirit that these SJWs carry. They are terrible at life. And to mitigate the fact that their lives suck, they have to make other people's lives terrible too. So they comb through the Bird app, they comb through Instagram, just looking for people's lives to ruin. Just like the lion, also from the Bible, an allusion to the devil, who roams around looking for something else to devour. I told y'all SJWs were the devil. They've been doing this shit all year long, as I've covered on this channel. They tried to cancel Emma Langevin, aka the Jersey E-Girl, all because they didn't like who she followed when she started getting big. They've been trying to cancel Gina Carano all year because of reasons. Rosario Dawson, Terry Crews, all these people who are oftentimes members of the very communities they claim they want to protect and make safe spaces for. But because the individuals don't align up 100% with their personal politics, they need them the fuck gone. And that's exactly what they've done to Letitia Wright. They don't like the fact that she's critical of this vaccine. They also don't like the fact that she's a woman of faith. That's something else that I've neglected to mention here. She is a Christian, and they can't stand that shit. They have all the apologetics in the world for Islam and all the terrible things that are in its holy book and its practices, because it's a religion that's mainly worshipped by brown people and people who don't live in the United States. But because Christianity is mainly a quote-unquote white Western religion, it's open season on that shit. And Letitia Wright, the fact that she is a black woman who is a very spiritually minded Christian, oh, they just can't stand that shit. Okay, and I'm speaking as someone who is not religious. I left Christianity years ago. But I can appreciate when someone is genuinely a spiritual person who uses their spirituality to enrich their lives and the lives of others. If it's good for you, I'm good with it. Really doesn't matter whether I agree with it myself or not. But these people can't think like that. So they have to call her all these terrible names in the book, including being transphobic. The guy in the video compared the belief in the existence of the current virus that we're under to being transgender. I'll put a direct quote up on the screen right now. I do not agree with that. I have no idea if Letitia Wright agrees with that. But because she didn't come out and say that part specifically is wrong, that obviously means that she agrees with it. Because these people are so smooth-brained, they can't conceive of agreeing with someone's overall point and not agreeing with every single word they say. To them, it's all or nothing. They have no room for nuance. They have no concept of nuance. They don't understand how you can believe two different things at the same fucking time. Just like we saw with all the riots. People were acting like you can't be against the death of George Floyd or Breonna Taylor and also not agree with people burning their entire fucking city down. Something that people like Eric July, aka Young Ripper 59, has pointed out numerous times. These people do not understand complex thought. So there you have it. Hopefully Letitia Wright's actual career isn't in jeopardy. I really hope nothing else comes from this, because I'm done. I'm so sick of these fucking moral busybodies destroying everything and trying to ruin everyone else's life just because they're sad sacks of failures. Thank y'all for watching and listening. Some of my latest videos are getting lots of traffic and engagement. I really like that, y'all. Keep the conversation going. And I'm having lots of good discussions with folks in the comment section. Please go check out some of my last videos. Man, check it out. Check out some of the older videos too, man. There's so much going on in the world right now. And I'm just a simple nerd making sense of it. Thank y'all for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Animane. And I'll talk to y'all later. Letitia Wright, keep your head up. Don't let these asshats ruin you. Deuces.